Bees, Bonnets and Beans. February 5, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. Oh, boy, howdy, I have some folks angry at me. They are howling from shore to shore. They have been harmed. They want compensation. They want me to lead them through the process of enforcing commercial liens against these rats, and if I don't do that, I am obviously not a good person. The problem isn't with the idea of compensating you. I am all for that. The problem is with what they do to compensate people they've harmed. Follow me through the process by analogy. You are in 3rd grade and a schoolyard bully is stealing your lunch every day. So you finally get your big brother who is in high school to come lean on this kid and give him the evil eye. What happens? Does the rat give you all your lunches back? No. He ate them. He can't do that. Can he make lunches for you for the next 2 months and return them that way? No, he never had the means to make lunch for himself. That's why he stole yours in the first place. So, faced with your brother poised with an iron fist over his head and the fact that he isn't going to get lunch today, what does he do? He shakes down 2 new kids, and steals both their lunches. Now, he has lunch and he has an extra lunch to share out with his little schoolyard capos who are there to assist his lunch-stealing business, but 2 other kids are suffering. You see how the misery spreads. What started with 1 kid losing his lunch becomes 2 kids losing their lunches, and on and on and on, until someone actually stops the bully from stealing lunches. Period. The bully in this story is the government, which does virtually nothing productive. The government doesn't have the means to make its own lunch, so it steals from you. And if it can't steal from you, it steals from other people just like you. That's outrageous, you think. Pa. How could that be? Through manipulation of currency and through taxation and fraud. Whatever compensation you demand for your losses, they already ate your lunch, so the only way they can pay you compensation is by creating more fiat money off the backs of other Americans, the proverbial new kids, your friends and family and coworkers, and even your own great-grandkids, people who never hurt you and don't owe you anything. This is how the government compensates people. It boots up the printing presses and devalues the value of everyone's money, including yours, by inflation. It schemes up new ways to tax everyone to make up the difference. It hides and rat holes all the profit from its sleaze bag activities. It never, ever, pays a dime of its own. According to the government, it is perpetually broke, always in debt, or bankrupt. If it does turn a profit and all this manipulating and racketeering does turn handsome profits, they make sure to spend it, reinvest it, hide it in slush funds, cashier it offshore, siphon it away into foreign economies like the Ukraine, you get the picture. Their money is gone or traded for currencies you don't use and can't spend, before you can draw your next breath. Just like the Pope and the Peters Pence scandal. They collected over $500 million purportedly for a special papal relief fund for those harmed by war, political oppression, disease, and natural disaster, but where did it go? Into luxury condo investments and new Hollywood films and anywhere and everywhere but actually helping the victims of war, political oppression, disease and natural disaster. Called on the carpet, what do the vermin say? Oh, they were responsibly protecting the principal you gave them and spending only the profit, but then you find out that they reinvested the profit into fast food chains and hotels, and the profit from that into stocks and bonds, and in the end, all they do is pour mouth and enrich themselves. They give 10% to the people who were the excuse for taking up the collection. And as bad as that is, it is better than the federal government. When you come knocking on their door asking for compensation for all your losses and suffering, they give you the sad eyes and tell you about the bogus national debt, and they show you and your lawyer their thoroughly cooked books, and they turn both their pockets inside out. Well, can't get blood out of a turnip, can you? All the states of states I know of and have to deal with are self-insured. That means that no insurance company will bond them and their operations, and there is nothing that actually belongs to them on the table for you to attach. All the impressive buildings that they use free gratis to carry out their filthy business on your shores don't belong to them. They belong to you. All the resources they manage and plunder don't belong to them. They belong to you, too. What happens when people who are harmed demand compensation from the government is this: the victims wind up either 1. Paying it themselves out of their own resources, or 2. The criminals strong-arm payment from other innocent people. The rats never pay 1 penny of compensation. Ever. Short of a pitchfork or an act of God, you can never actually hurt those who hurt you, because you deal in Federal Reserve notes and they deal in Swiss francs, or euros, or pounds sterling or special drawing rights. They insulate themselves from the inflation of your currency that results from paying you compensation with your own money, and they just sit back and let the victims pay the victims and watch us inflate our own currency into oblivion. They have their money in rubles and yen and francs, and as we make these stupid moves seeking compensation via commercial liens and arbitration, the value of the rats' money increases relative to ours. They profit from the spectacle of us being paid compensation for their acts with our money. The lawyers sit like spiders in the middle of all this, glutting themselves on all the juicy court cases and siphoning off a percentage of the take. The only way to get the schoolyard bully back in line is by everyone ganging up on him and forcing him to stop stealing lunches. And it's the same way with what passes for our government. Compensation is when the perpetrators, not the victims, have to pay the bill. It's when British pounds come out of British banks to pay American victims of British territorial racketeering. It's when papal gold gets transferred to your bank account that you get compensated. Otherwise, you are just spreading the misery and egging it on. If you can't see that, then go back and read this again. Please consider making a small donation to help support Anna von Reitz and the Living Law Firm, by visiting the AmericanStatesAssembly.net, scroll to the bottom and click on the Donate Now button. Thank you. If you enjoy having Anna's latest articles made into videos, please consider making a purchase from Ed's website wellnessrods.com. Thank you.